Hello, hello, hello. Hello. How you doing? I'm going to start off by getting an infusion here.
Whiskey.
This is the new juice of wild oregano. How many of you are fans of the actual aromatic water of wild oregano? The so-called juice. This has the muscadine and the pomegranate. I got to have some of that because I got an hour and a half and then another hour and a half with y'all. And the person needs that kind of power and strength. How many of you are looking for some power and strength and potency and some exceptional health on the hunt? How many of you came today because you actually have a health condition you want to get resolved or find out about so you've got certain diagnosis? Is that what's going on? Okay, how many of you came today because you just wanted to learn about natural medicine and you saw the flyer and you're interested in herbal medicine and sort of God's kingdom of natural cures and all that? Who came for that reason? Most of us. Most of us. How many came to didn't want to come? Somebody drugged you along. How many of you came just to see what the guy looked like? Right? You saw the brochure, saw him on YouTube, see if he's real. So we all have our reasons, but I have a reason too. I wanted to talk to you for the first time in history, for a categorical hour and a half or whatever, about big pharma versus little pharma. Now, what do you think big pharma is? The first time ever. Big pharma is what? Pharmaceutical. What is little pharma? Can you switch them around? The pharmaceutical only has 100 drugs, 150. God Almighty made 1.5 million, 2 million, 3 million. Nobody even can count them. If we were to harvest the real big pharma and find a way to go to the wild plants and the wild of nature, we were just talking about the kingdom here, we could find a medicine, do you believe this, for every what? Every illness. Because for every illness, our kind Creator has produced a cure. Our biggest challenge in the history has been matching the illness to the drug, or the natural drug, the big pharma drug. We're going to switch things around. We're going to try to do that today. There's no other reason to be here with you other than to find the tools that you need to get to the wellness. If you're in this position now, in the illness mode or diagnosis mode or chronic symptomatic mode, only thing we got to do is get you to the wellness position, where you're like old Methuselah or somebody, cranking around until, I don't know, or Abraham. So they lived a while, right? Maybe 200, 150, 125, maybe 700. Who knows what the literal means? Whatever it was, they didn't have any nursing homes, hospitals, hospices, doctors in the traditional sense. They just kept going. So we got to find what tools we could use to put the cranks on inside our cellular chemistry and our organs, our endocrine system, our digestive, so that they function automatically at the optimal level. You've never heard that before. There's another secret. So matching, in other words, we've got to find what's been created for our disease or our condition. We've got to figure it out, match it. But the other big one is, how many of you have gone to a doctor, and I'm an osteopath, and I'm not disparaging our medical profession, and have been itched your head because nobody asked you what your symptoms are, or what could cause it, or when did the condition begin, when did you not have that condition, what's your diet like, what's your stress level? That all of a sudden, all you get is this little piece of white paper to go to the pharmacy. Anybody have that experience? It doesn't make any sense. If we had some kind of condition, shouldn't somebody sit down with us and analyze and look at the old test results, maybe order some tests, but at least analyze our symptoms. Figure out maybe what's causing the condition. That makes some sense? But it's a senseless, insane world. You'll never get it. I want to know if anybody in this room, when they went to see the doctor, if the doctor sat them down and said, hold on a minute. What are you eating? What's your breakfast? What's your lunch? What's your dinner? How much psychic stress do you think you have? What supplements are you taking? What kind of environmental exposure do you have? And the most important question is, when did you not have the pain? What year? Start to trace like a detective. Anybody in this room have that happen? What? Breathe. They sat down and took you through the whole thing? They did? Asked you when's the last time you didn't have it? Wow. What's that? A doctor outside of insurance. So, are these more naturalistic doctors? Yeah, so that's a little different. What's that? Prescribe more medication on top of medication? How about some medication for the medication side effects?
Right.
Hey doctor, I had just now a case of a person who is having brain lesions and brain damage from a cholesterol-lowering drug. So she went into her doctor and he raised the dose, even though the drug was causing the symptomology and the pathology. Doesn't make any sense. But the other thing is, and the reason that we're taking this is that if we have a condition, we have to find out what's causing it. I can't just tell you. Some people come up, what do I take? And I start asking questions. I can't just tell you, take these 5 things. I want to know what's going on. A lot of times people call me on the radio or whatever, consultation or in person, a few questions. What happened? Tell me about it. When did you not have the condition? A secret question. And then build it from there. And I take a look at them and I say, you like sugar a lot, don't you? How did you know? So we've got to find out about that. A vaccine injury, right? Got them all, right? Is that what happened? That why the child is having attention issues? Yeah, got all the vaccines. In a few questions, all of a sudden, arthritis, but is it on both sides? No, it's only on one side. It's only in the knee, and then it migrates to the shoulder. You got any ticks in the backyard? Dogs? Yeah, I got 2 dogs. I don't have a rash, but it started in July. Well, then it's Lyme disease until proven otherwise. What good would it do if I give an anti-inflammatory and she's got the spiral key rotating and the Bartonella screwing around everywhere in her system? You see what I'm saying? Then I know what medicine to give at that point. What herb. So I got to know, right, what's going on. What the cause is. Is it from an injury? Is it a toxicity? Is it heavy metals? Is it pesticide and herbicide? You're a farmer and the dust got you? Or is it an infection? Or is it vaccine destabilizing your system? Or did you as an adult get an extra inoculation and then all of a sudden you develop an autoimmune disease? Well, I have Hashimoto's. No, you have vaccine motos. I have a pain in my knees. It's like arthritis. You really, really do like that sugar and you've been taking antibiotics? No, you have candida arthritis. One time a woman came up to me and she shuffled. And she said, I think it was in this room, she said, Doctor, I have a depression. And she was on psychotropic drugs, which was damaging, I could tell, her capacity to walk and to have balance. But I said, stick out your tongue. And she had the worst candida-coated, yellow, white-coated, thrush tongue. So I said, you don't have depressionitis, you have candidaitis, and that's causing the toxins that short-circuit your brain, and therefore you have the depression. So you know what I could have done with that person? If I could have grabbed her and held her down, followed her, I could have got rid of her depression with one natural medicine. Well, what have I done to give her And it's not an antidepressant, and she would have felt better within a few minutes. She has the candida, she has the fungus. What match would I have made? What natural medicine? Yeah, the oregano. We'll just give her the juice and the oil, and I feel better. My mood is better. I feel more calmer, more lifted. So it's just like that. It's not that it can't be treated or aided. It's that we don't dispense the correct medicine for that specific condition. Otherwise, I've been taking 6 or 8 supplements for this memory problem and this anxiety and depression and stuff. And do you notice anything? Well, I think it's working. If we do it right, you'll know within the day or 2 or a week. And it's worse, and it's more bizarre than that. Somebody comes in and says, "Hey, doctor, I've been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I just got out of the hospital to give me diuretics. I'm a little better now. I still have the breathing trouble and congestive heart failure." It's a 56-year-old woman. And I take a look at her, or mitral valve prolapse, or coronary artery disease, or high cholesterol, and I take a look at him, man or woman, and I look at him a little more, and I say, "By the way, as far as energy goes, are you a dead piece of meat in the morning, or you die off at night, or are you the life of the party at night, or do you fizzle at 6 or 8 o'clock? What's your deal?" "Well, I'm lousy in the morning. It's been like that for years, doctor. And I stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning." All right. Now, when you gain weight, like that belly you got there, that little belly, it's not that big, but it's there. Do you put the weight, does it wrap around the front of the abdomen? Well, yeah, it does. And are you kind of cold? You wear I always wear socks and sweaters at the night. My husband thinks it's... Look, what do you think she's got? Why she got the congestive heart failure and the mitral valve prolapse? Is it heart? What deficiency in her hormone? Why is she apple-shaped? Did anybody ever read my book? The body shape? She's got thyroid, yes. She's low in her... She's got hypothyroidism. She doesn't have congestive heart failure. Her heart is enlarged, weak, and pumping instead of like this, at a fraction of the time, because she's deficient in thyroid hormone. So I could have given her all kinds of, herbs and medicines and drugs and missed it completely. And she could have dropped dead next week. So it's not that one has to, load you up with too many possibilities or ideas, but that's the way the body is. It's complicated. So in order to get to the perfection in health, you have to deal with these different elements. Is there an infection? Is it fungal? Is it maybe viral? Maybe bacterial, like H. pylori or esophagitis or Barrett's esophagus, which can be fungal also. Is there, because of that infection, a suppression of the immunity? We have to deal with that. Is there a hormonal deficit, either in excess, as in hyperthyroidism, which we think is from hyper excess in the thyroid, but is usually because of a collapse of the adrenals. So again, we can't trust what we're told. Or is it a deficiency, as in hypopituitary, hypothyroid, hypoadrenal? Or Cushing's is an excess of cortisol? Or is it more of a pituitary thing? Then we want to find out if there's a insufficiency in the nutrition. Are we becoming deficient in the critical components, your vitamins, your minerals, your enzymes, your protein, your amino acids? What's happening with the nutrition? We have to find out to get to that optimal position, because if we are deficient in vitamin C, B complex, A, and D, and to some degree amino acids, they are needed, less so as we age, than essential fatty acids. If we're in a deficit mode, then we will be vulnerable to attack by microbes, to breakdown of the tissues, to disease processes that could assault us as our arteries break down, our heart, our digestive tract, our skin, our kidneys and more, because we're lacking in the essential nutrients known as vitamins and more. The minerals are catalysts for the enzymes. The vitamins are essential for cellular metabolism. If we are lacking, then we will begin to break down. So all of this has to be properly addressed for us to get to an optimal condition. Furthermore, we have discovered, and it has been known for some time, that another component exists, which is what we know as adaptogens. The adaptogens are those substances in nature that our Creator produced so the human body can adapt to disease, or particularly to aging. Now, if God wanted us to be like Aunt Susie, Aunt Susie's in the hospital again, poor thing. Let's go visit her. She's there, that's the 10th time now this year. Let's get some more flowers and some nice cards. You know she loves it, and get plenty of chocolates. And let's all go visit Aunt Susie. If that was how we're supposed to live, why did He produce all of these adaptogens that allow you to potentially live 20, 30% more than your even genetic lifespan, or more, right? Your chaga, your spruce, your pine pollen, your rhodiola, and your ginseng, and that to some degree. But I have been on the hunt for your oregano is an adaptogen, your turmeric is one, your black seed is one. But the Prophet Muhammad's saying that if you take your black seed, it cures everything but death. And we can justify that statement, because it seems that if you take it, your kidneys regenerate, your liver regenerates, your gallstones get dissolved, you have skin regeneration, your pancreas regenerates, and it fights heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. So we don't know. But these are just a few of the prominent ashwagandha, Indian ginseng, adaptogens, royal jelly. Royal jelly. They've kept cells alive indefinitely with royal jelly. There was a study with royal jelly where, something like Royal Power, for instance, where they injected carcinoma in the animals, and they injected royal jelly at the same time, and the cancer never set. The consumption of royal jelly. If you were a bee, you don't have to do anything but eat the royal jelly, and you metamorphosize into a queen. Now the regular bee can't do much. Just go collect honey and maintain the hive. Never could lay an egg. But the metamorphosized bee that's feeding on the royal jelly, it's a magic trick, right? If there's magic, it's from the kingdom of God. Anyway, that bee lays 2,000 to 3,000 eggs a day, and they're eating the royal jelly. Now, I couldn't lay an egg in my whole lifetime. In other words, how in the world? Nobody knows. So the adaptogens are also a way, because that way we can prevent ourselves from any illness. I don't have time. Who in the world wants to end up sick with something? Cold, flu, bronchitis, pneumonia, cough, stupid Lyme disease. Or as we age, degenerate to the point where we can't even, take care of ourselves. And maybe we're by ourselves and we can't do anything, and we're become dependent upon the system. The hospitals, the hospices, the nursing homes. Get out of here. Get me away from this life if I even have to spend a day in a nursing home, other than to visit the sick, to try to help them out. So who's with me? Who wants to get to that point of the most incredible health conceivable? Yeah. Has the doctor in the front room degenerated with time? I've had to work at it, but it does the job. And recently we discovered a couple of extremely effective adaptogens from spruce and pine. Another one is cannabis. The cannabis contains a compound also found in spruce and pine, interestingly enough, and in oregano, called BCP. So think about it. Oregano, spruce, pine, and cannabis. All containing BCP. What is BCP? Beta-caryophyllene. BCP, if you look it up on the internet, is the most prominent natural chemical terpene. It's the odor of cannabis. It's the substance that they give the dogs so they can smell the marijuana. BCP is the odor of a pine tree, the odor of a spruce, the smell of oregano, of rosemary, of cloves, of cinnamon, of all the substances we love. Black pepper is a BCP odor. The substance was found to be the only chemical in nature that dramatically increased lifespan in test nematodes. The C. elegans nematode, which is the test base for determining longevity in test models. It was a 20% increase in lifespan, equal to fasting. And you know fasting is an exceptional therapy. So, we have been determining that the crude extracts of the plants rich in BCP, because it's volatile, it's vulnerable, it's damaged easily by heat, and it's damaged also particularly by solvents. So this is the bigger challenge, is if our sources are treated with hexane, propane, and with butane or with high-dose alcohol, the BCP can be altered. But if we could get it in a raw state, then it would help us with maintaining excellence in health. It has been found that BCP, beta-caryophyllene, causes not only repair in the brain, in the nervous system, so we can, if you had an injury or a concussion or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or vaccine-induced injury with autism and Tourette syndrome, we could try to help the body repair. So it has been shown to cross the blood-brain barrier and to induce the repair in difficult arenas like the brain, the neurons. But the BCP has been found to cause the stem cells new neuron production. Brand new brain cells, spinal cord cells, neurons. And new pancreatic cells for making insulin. So I'm always eating BCP. Not in a chemical form, in the crude extract form, unprocessed natural form. It's not found in turmeric, interestingly enough. That has other substances. So now, this is how we get to that high level of health, is through the knowledge and the understanding. Not just by taking a load of supplements by themselves, but by strategizing how we're going to go about getting there. And so we're going to deviate a little bit now that we've set the platform to the main causes of disease. As you know, I just published the infection connection. How many of you today have come here and you don't mind saying real quick what the disease is that you're diagnosed, you're trying to get rid of? We're talking about what your doctor told you you had. Okay, as Hashimoto's I heard.
Diabetes and inflammation.
So with diabetes with inflammation is what she's been told. Hashimoto, somebody else. There's a lupus on row 4. A hypertension, oh my goodness. High blood pressure and high and low, a fluctuating type. Well, the renal glands are involved there. You miss? So is that the main thing, is the vertigo? Well, she has a pituitary adenoma, and that certainly is going to affect the brain and the functionality, pressure. There's a family history of strong cancer here. Just trying to get some information. Anybody else? heart, MS here, valvular on the heart, yeah, here, first, COPD running in the family.
Family history of Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's disease is a high risk.
Thyroid.
Osteoporosis. Osteoarthritis is there. Almost every, yes, fibromyalgia. Did they give you medication for the lupus? You had it for 22 years, steroids, methotrexate. Okay, only one. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, you've got fibromyalgia. Okay. So, yes.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Polycystic PCOS. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think I'm going to tell you now about what the cause of most of these conditions are? Infection. Yes. Infection, infestation, almost every case. So how are we going to get you well? By putting you on a little omega-3 and some B vitamin or what have you. It's not going to do it. Maybe get a little improvement. We want to get rid of it. The promise today was getting rid of it, purging it. Yeah. Yeah, goodbye. You know, we got other things to do. You got kids, grandkids, you got stuff. There's stuff. Right? In the old days, they had stuff. You know, and I'm talking about old, ancient. And they just went about doing the stuff without all this chronic debilitation that we have now. Not to this degree. Well, and here the MS, Mrs. MS is Mrs. Fungus. Yeah, super fungus lady. Yeah. Which I can tell right, just, you know. In your case, it's infection fungal, mostly. But nutritional deficiency you have extreme. You need riboflavin. You need more ascorbate. You need more nutrients. You need royal jelly would be good for yourself. And in the case of the Alzheimer's and cancer history, there's going to be some underlying fungal element that has to be purged from the tissues. Okay, so in the COPD or the mitral valve, it could be a bacterial. No problem with root canals or nothing like that. So there could be some type of bacterial source lining the heart valves or fungal causing the valvular disease. Can be evaluated, but one could treat for these conditions with the wild oregano antiseptic. You know, the juice and the oil. And even what I was doing, I was taking the cardiac juice, where I was taking it with muscadine, high in resveratrol and ellagic acid, and I was taking it with the pomegranate to get the cardiovascular benefits go up. Arthritis is 80% infectious. Osteoporosis, there's an infectious root. You have to clear out the pathogens, parasites, perhaps, certainly fungal forms out. All arthritis has to be considered infection until proven otherwise. If it's on, how many people have pain or arthritis that hits like the shoulder, making it a bum shoulder, a bum knee, or bum ankle, and like one side knee? Then you have to check out the Lyme possibility of the Lyme spirochete. Yeah, and and here it's a pandemic, so you assume it until proof otherwise. But should be treated as Lyme, not just with substances for inflammation, but high dose oregano, oiled oregano. The Lyme protocol, and there are many in the audience, is the oil super strength, the Oregarest multiple spice, and the oregano juice. Pound. The three are the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the prostate, PSA level high.
A high PSA, you have to consider fungus, bacteria. You have to clean out the germs. There was a study done, a curious study done in Long Island University, where they took and plated out cancer cells of the prostate. They then added the oregano oil, and it obliterated, destroyed the cancer cells. Not a trace left. So is there a fungus living in the prostate cancer cells? No one knows. We just know that the oil of oregano and the juice are exceptional for the prostatic disorder.
And that for enlarged?
Yes, enlarged. Well, if it's enlarged, you have to add another remedy. What do you think it is? What's a really good remedy? And if you looked at the plant, it looks like a testicle or a prostate. Anybody know? It has seeds. Pumpkin. Talk about a sign. So the pumpkin, there's a pumpkin seed oil here. Pumpkin oil. You take for enlarged, benign, hypertrophy, whatever, you take 2 tablespoons a day or 2 twice a day to get it, because the pumpkin contains something the oregano doesn't have, and it's not BCP that you find in black pepper or rosemary or spruce or pine or hemp. It contains anti-testosterone.
Does that shrink?
Shrink.
Shrink it?
What's that?
Can that shrink a large part?
Shrink it. That's what it does. You kill the bad testosterone and it shrinks. Yeah. You can sometimes take wild cranberry if you wish. They have wild cranberry extract, and you can get the urinary stream up with that if you wish. But the prostate is the pumpkin. Yeah. So that's how it works, people. And in many plants, the color and the shape tell you what it's good for. Do you know what the best berry is for the heart? Number 1. What looks like a heart? Strawberry. She gets the prize. It's like 1 8 of them. She gets a free book. Picture. Yeah, it's a strawberry that you have strawberry juice every day for cardiovascular. And the leaves. See? And there's what hawthorn is color. Hawthorn for the heart doesn't quite look like a heart, but kind of. It's got the color of the heart. And the seeds look a little bit like a cardiac. So hawthorn is also exceptional, and that's more of a apple or a drupe than it is a fruit. And then another one is black seed and pomegranate. Pomegranate looks like when you open the seeds, open the fruit, the little seeds have heart shape. And it's got the heart color. So, and the black seed, if you look carefully with the microscope at the black seed, it looks just like a coronary. It looks just like the heart with coronary, it looks like a coronary arteries on it. So therefore, the black seed's probably the king for cardiovascular. Secondly, pomegranate. Third would be purple grape and strawberry and such on. What's that? CoQ10. CoQ10 is good, but CoQ10 in nature is in hearts and kidneys. So now it's made synthetically. And you can get some benefit, I think, even from that. But it's not to compare with the thymoquinone. Thymoquinone is a CoQ10 found in black seed. It's almost the same, but it's a vegetable source. It's more potent than CoQ10. So in fact, thymoquinone, like CoQ10, works on the brainstem and to reduce the blood pressure. And you will always get a reduction in blood pressure with black seed, especially the one where pomegranate and ellagic acid and resveratrol are together. You know, the new thing, brand new infusion. Now, when it works on the brainstem to reduce the blood pressure, to help the heart as a pump and increase the cardio. I just talked to a woman, she said, "Doctor, you're right. You told me to take the black seed. I pounded it. I went to my doctor and my ejection fraction went up." She didn't exercise. She's big. Now, the other thing is the thymoquinone, CoQ10 vegetable, reduces the resting heart rate, which everybody's trying to do. Everybody wants to go to the cardio and the jogging and join the marathon and all. I reduce my resting heart rate until you kill yourself. Do it the way God did it. Just take the black seed oil and go for a walk like the old guy. Yeah. Don't stress yourself. You know? Yeah. It works. And the one guy had a heart rate of 100. It went to 60. 40 points down. Another one 90, down to 60. Just black seed oil.
So on the page that shows the black seed oil.
What's that?
On the handouts.
Yeah.
There's a page that shows the black seed.
The one with the
oil.
pomegranate and the
No, just the black seed.
you could
oil.
just do black seed.
Then there's a picture of these wild blue flowers that you'll see along the side of the road.
Oh, that's chicory.
Chicory. All right, chicory.
The black seed only grows in the Mediterranean.
So it's not from the chicory.
No. Beautiful flowers, but not even from the family.
So I was going to ask you, because this is how my mind works, that if you made those into tea.
No, chicory would be more for the digestion,
Okay.
that type thing.
All right.
Different. But you could pick the flowers and the root. The root you would roast.
Okay.
With dandelion, this time of year, you pick them both in an area that's clean, and you roast them, and or you juice them, or you cut them up and put them in salad. That's the dandelion and the chicory for the liver and for the digestion. That's why I'm writing my textbook textbook of natural cures. Textbook of Natural Cures will be everything I know in the world in one book. And it will take me another year or so, but I'm, God willing, hopefully get it done. I'm taking lots of cannabis extract to help along the way. The hempenol, Hempenol PM to sleep, so that it makes me wake up earlier, I can write, and hempenol the rest of it. But I am writing 2 books at once. I'm writing that, and I'm also writing a book about how we've not been told the truth about science, the history of science, and the Oriental contribution, how we're tied. I remember hearing about Islamic Spain, and you hear about Baghdad, and you hear about how there was a revolution. So I'm tying all of that Hindu, Oriental, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, all of this contribution together. I'm almost done with that. So I'll have 2 new books done in the next year. And I like to do other things besides nutrition. And so you can contact us. I don't think the store carries those, but you can contact the company if you want those, or have the store get them for you. But back to what we were talking about. So if we were to analyze all these conditions, we'd have to start with the oregano, right? And clean out the fungus and the viruses and bacteria, and then add in the other nutrients. The black seed oil would be exceptional to support that if there's cardiovascular, if there's digestion, if there are parasites. Black seed oil is better for worms and parasites than oregano is. So it just depends what we're going to use for the condition. If there's an exceptional inflammation cascade, then look to turmeric. Now, I don't know how many of you have tried the wild turmeric. Anybody have it demoed out? The drops? Have you? Okay, you just tried it now. You didn't try it? Okay. Yourself? Did you try it? The wild one, the drops. Oh, the pills. Oh, so you're taking oregano pills?
Yeah.
Okay. But has anybody tried the wild turmeric drops or capsules? How is it done for you? That's a wild one.
I love it.
You love it.
Yeah.
It's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So what we found is that rather than just recommending commercial products or isolated products, and you could get maybe results or marginal results, I wanted to find some way that you could punch the inflammation in the nose and get rid of it. And I found it gets rid of it.
Quickly, too. Very quickly.
Very quick. So you may, how many have chronic inflammation or pain? Oregano may not be enough. You may want to go for canna-curcumin or the turmeric plus, either one. Turmeric plus has no cannabis for those that are sheepish. And this is, of course, not marijuana. turmeric or canna-curcumin is wild turmeric resin, cannabis in the industrial form, ginger resin, rosemary, oregano, and cinnamon. So you have 6 medicines that are anti-inflammatory. In the drop form, you have it micellized for complete absorption through the tissue, so that the issue that you may have heard about of turmeric absorption is eliminated. Even the capsules are well absorbed. So I would challenge our audience. We know how much inflammation we have now. We know we're going to take the oregano to clean out the fungus and the viruses. And if we have Lyme, we have to go a little more aggressive. We have to do the oil, the oregano, and the juice. If we just have general chronic infection, maybe the oil and the juice by itself. But I would challenge us, if we have this, to take wild turmeric and knock the inflammation out and experience life without the pain and inflammation for once. Because that's its specialty. It has to do with the pigments and with its essential oils, with the turmerones. And that's what's unique about turmeric. It is uniquely a superior anti-inflammatory than any drug known, if it's in a form where it's 100% whole food, 100% unaltered. So you could replace the Indocins, the Motrins of the world, the Advils, and the steroids with this. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, 2 questions.
What's that?
If someone were to use black seed for worms and parasites, how much and how long?
If that person, in other words, so we were talking about fungus, bacteria, and viruses, but what about worms? What if we have parasite load? They're not easy to kill. So in that case, you use the black seed oil 2 tablespoons twice a day, ideally, or about 5 capsules twice a day. The capsules are kind of interesting because they contain fennel and cumin, and those are anti-parasitic spice oils. Either way, you're going to get some results.
For how long?
Oh, it takes 2 months. I would add the pine. Pine is a heavy-duty anti-parasitic. How many of you heard of turpentine? People not taking it, and I'm not taking it. I'm not going to do it. So I'll instead take the pine resin, which I could take and drink 3 bottles of without any issue. So pine resin would be a good addition. Oregano would be another addition. 5 3 times a day for parasites. 3 times a day. 5 droppers twice a day. You have to take big doses. They're not going to go away. Yeah.
Can you spell the word for the wild turmeric?
Well, it's canna, C-A-N-A, curmin, C-U-R-M-I-N, canna-curmin. Wild, harvested. The government has to give special permission to the harvesters because it's from the forests in areas not farmed. So partners in India pick it. And the roots are quite spectacular. Big, beautiful color, a lot different than when you raise it organically and all that. Yeah.
So sciatica has a component of inflammation, right?
Sciatica is out with the canna-curcumin. Finished. Roast beef. You also could rub the oregano oil on the area and on the buttocks and so on.
So how much canna-curcumin for this?
How much to take? How much to take would be, maybe 3 times a day, or 2 droppers twice a day, something like that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Arthritis, inflammation, chronic pain, canna-curcumin. Use the oregano protocol to clean out the infection at the same time you're taking anti-inflammatory. There's many turmerics, but this is the one that's going to give you quick results. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That wild turmeric Power Plus liquid is only missing the cannabis. It's cheaper because everything good, if a person's budgeting, is in the turmeric drops. It would supplement the canna-curcumin almost as good. You're just missing the cannabis part. That's why one is $60 and one is $30. Cannabis is expensive stuff. Yeah. I don't know why, it's a racket, I think. Yeah. For glaucoma, it's cannabis or hemp. extract. Hempenol. Hempenol with the oregano. This makes it 50 times more powerful than hemp by itself. Would probably be the best for glaucoma. And if you didn't tolerate that, you could go with hempenol CF. Calm and focus. But some kind of hemp combined with high-dose natural vitamin C, where you take a tablespoon twice a day or 4 capsules twice a day, combined with a high-dose natural vitamin A and D from salmon brain or from cod liver, but this one's called Polar Power. You'll see it here. And it's fatty salmon from the brain of the salmon, steamed, distilled out. And the brain is clean because of the blood-brain barrier, so there's no mercury or dioxin, and you take a tablespoon twice a day. That would be the protocol for glaucoma before you go blind with it. As you know, you have to hit it and hit it hard. Get that ocular pressure down. Yeah.
What about cholesterol and statins and that whole?
Well, the whole... Okay, so that's the other fifth component was diet. So we said the adaptogens, the oregano or antiseptic, the anti-inflammatory. I don't know if I said that as a group, but whatever my 5 was, I forgot. But when diet is the fifth, and diet, the nutritional deficiencies and all that. Diet is diet has to be paleo these days with, reduce your carbohydrate intake. If it's a cholesterol, then we have to think paleo. Starch and sugar, cut them out. Reduce them quite a bit. And then treat the thyroid. Is it yourself with the cholesterol? So you treat the thyroid. You take the ashwagandha, you take the thyroset, what have you. You take supplements for the thyroid. To get the metabolic rate, you take the black seed oil. Get the metabolic rate up. Take the black seed oil capsule. Push that metabolic rate up 35%. You're cutting back the starch. You're cutting back the sugar. You don't need the statins at that point. Yeah. And there's something called Black Seed Plus. Look for it. It's anti-cholesterol. For super high cholesterol, we should be taking 3 twice a day or 2 twice a day. It has red sour grape, cumin, and black seed, and it always lowers the cholesterol. Yeah. Okay, so there's a question here because we're talking about the categories here. Adaptogens, one of which is hemp or CBD. And by definition, hemp oil can't be CBD. CBD has to be a refined product where the amount of cannabidiol is increased through distillation and solvent extraction. That way we can say ours have, or whatever, 5 milligrams, 10, 20, 30, 50. Maybe for $1,000 you can have 200 milligrams. I talked to the big player in CBD, the biggest guy. He supplies 30% of the industry, so if you see 40 brands, he's supplying 30% of that. I said, I'm trying to find some more crude extracts. This is the next topic. Thank you very much, is to get into the crude. And he said, I can't give it to you because everything we produce with propane gas. So the same as butane. Another 10% of the industry is butane. So they have to isolate. And when they do that, and the product ends up being a little bit clear or yellowish, they kill the waxes, they remove the resins, the terpenes are boiled off, the BCP is reduced, all sorts of gimmicks, and they end up with CBD. All of it refined. Then you have the crude extract, almost impossible to find. So I've written 3 books on cannabis and hemp, right? Especially the new one, the Hemp Oil Miracle. So I have a lot of experience with this. I'm trying different products. And I found sometimes I felt stoned and different things. So I wanted just the crude extract. Just the way it is in nature. No alcohol, no butane. I don't want to put any butane in my body by touching the lighter fluid and tasting it. So what I did was I actually took the products and did colleagues did some scientific studies, and they found that when you isolate it, it doesn't work after a while. It quits working because the body says, you've given me a high amount of cannabinoid. Now, how many of you sit around smoking pot? You're not going to admit it. Not many of us here in Pennsylvania do that. So we don't get a lot of cannabinoid. So all of a sudden you're taking this powerful 50 milligram or 20 milligram, and the body says, hey, I don't need ever to have a cannabinoid. I'll quit making receptors. So it shuts off the receptors. And then if there's no receptors, you can't receive the end product. So we found repeatedly that just a crude extract is more effective, considerably more, than anything refined. Furthermore, it's not only more effective, you don't need to use it much. Once you get to the point of benefiting from the cannabis or the hemp oil is unrefined, the cannabis or the CBD is refined, then you take it once a week, twice a week, and you still get the benefit. Now, I'm a good example of that. Although I do at night, I use hempenol PM because, how do you think I wrote 35 books anyway? I can't sleep half the time. And so I use that to knock myself out every other night or when I need it. But as far as cannabis extract, I just use it once in a while because it builds up in your system, does the job, and then you can use it twice a week, as she found out with the can of turmeric. Now, why am I saying this? What did they used to do in the ancient times? They took and had people run through the fields naked or with leather suits on in India, and the British found them doing this, and that they used that to collect the resin from the cannabis. Now, once they collected that, they made it into balls and sold it in the market. Did anybody go around, giving them a bunch of propane tanks to extract it? This was how it's been done. So they would take it and put it in milk with turmeric and sometimes some ginger and drink it. Sometimes they drank too much. It was not just as a medicine. Some people became habituated. But the British saw them doing that, and they recorded a book about the medicinal benefits of cannabis in 1860 or so, because the British conquered the area. And so that popularized it in Europe and America. That's how we found out. We didn't smoke it then much. They did a little in Europe. We got it in the doctor's black bag that said cannabis indica extract. And what the British and the Americans did was they tried to figure out a way to standardize it. So they did an extensive alcoholic extraction with chemical extraction and heat to the resin that the villagers ate and used raw. The industry collapsed because the product quit working. It was ineffective. The doctors were confused because once in a while they get results and sometimes none, and they said negative things about it. But in the time of the ancients, the 1200s, they used to take the hashish balls and just chew on a little bit. And there was an old proverb in the 1200s by one of the Arabian or Persian scholars, and he said, look, if you want to take a dunce, and we got plenty of them in the world, and turn the dunce into an intellectual powerhouse, a genius, an absolute genius, give him cannabis medicinally, just a little nip from the hashish, or chew on a little flower, or chew on some cannabis leaves. They weren't smoking it, and they weren't using large quantities. Now, how many of you find it fathomable that hemp oil could help your intelligence, your creativity, and your productivity? Do you think that's possible? How many of you would like to have an increase in productivity, intelligence, capacity, and go out and do something crazy like write a novel, screenplay, write a book, do some research, travel the world? Anybody interested in just doing something? Then you got to do it. I mean, ever since I take it, and I don't sit and take tons. I take some. I take the hempenol with the oregano, the hempenol CF sometimes, and the PM. But I take some of the brain detox once in a while. Whatever I did to myself, my creativity, my driving ability, my touring ability, flying, lecturing, everything went up. And I mean, I wrote this year a 400-page book on osteopathic manipulative medicine, and with diagrams, plus the infection connection I finished, plus my textbook. So I can't explain it, but it's got to be the BCP, the raw BCP. You're not going to get it in CBD. You have to do it a little bit different. Hemphenol would be the way to go for that, anyway. So, long story short, but I would definitely get into the cannabis as a natural medicine from the industrial hemp. Just make sure you get the kind without solvents and such. Yeah, that's the only one that works. Stick with hemp oil. Or go buy a ball of hashish and chew on just a little tiny piece. Whoops. Sorry about that. Like FDA's here listening on the side. You know, it's all right. It's legal in India. She's an Indian or something. So, yeah.
I've had 2 carpal tunnel surgeries on my right hand and also trigger thumb.
Carpal tunnel surgeries on the right hand?
On the right hand and also trigger thumb surgeries.
Trigger thumb surgeries.
3 surgeries. I still have my fingers locking and I have to pry them open. What do you
For that inflammatory cascade, I would do the cannabis in 2 forms. The one with the oregano, hemphenol is called. The cannabis with the turmeric. Do them both. Drops under the tongue, pound it. Take the one with the oregano, hemphenol with the oregano, and rub it in at night in the strictures and inflammatory connective tissue. Pound the vitamin C in a whole food form. Pound the royal jelly to unseize these like 8 capsules a day. What did I say? Before that, I said royal jelly, and I said
vitamin C.
Yeah, the vitamin C. Take huge amounts. Natural vitamin C, not from camel, that type of thing. And maybe the collagen. Maybe there's a product called Collagen Power Plus with the Shilajit and the bromelain and papain. The bromelain, either that or some other supplement that not only is collagen, but bromelain and papain. Bromelain and papain are enormous for scars and carpal tunnel and this type of lesions. And you can also get the bromelain from juicing the tip tops of pineapples and pineapple seeds, papaya seeds with the papain.
Well,
so it eats the scar tissue.
I take the Dr. Axe, the powdered collagen. I got it here.
Okay. Is it working for you, or do you know? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got some collagen. And then typically with carpal tunnel, thyroid is damaged. Typically. So even if you don't have a diagnosis, if you have some of the symptoms, you could take something for the thyroid, something natural that would boost it. Thyrocet is the best that they have here. Thyrocet, 2 capsules twice a day. In her case, 3 capsules twice a day. Yeah. Or, yeah.
Other than myself, we have a problem here. Constantly itching all the time. I feel sick. And I don't breaking out over my body. So I started detoxing.
Tell them about it.
Okay. Can you hear me? I have a problem with body itching all the time. So it's a cousin and I have this problem. I don't know if it's for what I'm eating. I know I'm allergic to shellfish, so I don't even know shellfish. I even gave up seafood, period.
Okay.
So I started detoxing.
Yeah.
That has helped. But would you say I should take some type of is there anything that I should be taking liquid form or pill form or capsule form?
Let me see you tongue. Fungus City. Look at that Fungus City. Remember I said the fungus in your family history?
Okay.
So the reason she's itching all over the place is that stupid candida and all the other fungus. You kill them. You kill them quick. You hit them in the nose. You hit them with the oil of oregano and the oregano and you pound them out. Yeah. Then the itching's goodbye. Oil of oregano, oregano. Combination, really. Yeah. Okay, when I'm saying When I'm saying pound, I'm not talking about a couple of drops Wimbola twice a day. I'm talking about a dropper full 3 times a day, 3 capsules 3 times a day, beat the living daylights out of it for something like Candida for a couple of months. Then you could go, well, you should see results in a day or 2. Come on. Yeah. And, goodbye, Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about kidney?
Kidney and liver is interesting. Now, you got to get they're filters and cleaners, right? When they filter it clean, they're going to catch the germs, right? So one big thing with the kidney and liver is you got to clean them out. The cleaning agent is the oregano, the oil, the oregano, the juice. And if you want to get going, the juice for kidney, you want the one with the berry acids, you know. And but the big thing, people, is that the way God made it, everything's really kind of cool, right? So if you had a kidney or a liver and you started pounding, taking the oregano juice and the oil, the oregano, the black seed oil, you're hitting it hard, but my kidney's a little elevated, my liver's a little elevated, I'm hitting it. Oh, but could I get sick? Could it cause liver failure? Could I die from a kidney failure? Get out of here. When's the last time anybody went into kidney failure or liver failure from eating garlic or onions or oregano or cumin or pomegranate? Not possible. And even fatality. This is a 2-hour lecture or whatever it is. So think about it. We've got 2 hours together. When's the last time anybody died, for example, from garlic or onion or oregano or cumin or turmeric or, I don't know, pomegranate, whatever, or black seed? When the last time they died in a year? Any deaths and fatalities in the world? 1 death? No. No deaths. How about the last 10 years, decade? Anybody died from a garlic overdose or oregano? How about the last 100 years, century? How about the beginning of the human race? You might say it's 4,000. I don't know how many thousand. A long time ago. 10,000, 20,000, 8 million, whatever it is. Nobody died. How many people will kick the bucket in this 2-hour period in this country? Forget about the wars are horrible enough. We got a war right here. How many going to die by the time the lecture's over from synthetic little pharma drugs? 100, 200, 300 just in this 2 hours. Okay? So don't give me any hard time. Okay. Let me finish your question first. So for the kidneys, you use black seed oil. You use the oregano to clean, black seed to regenerate, and you could use a cranberry, wild cranberry drops, cran flush. And then Rus coriaria is an exceptional tonic for the kidneys, and that's found in oregano, crude herb, juice of oregano. If we have a kidney problem, and I can diagnose that, we've got to get the retained urine out and stimulate better flow. So those would do that. Yeah. Another one would be dandelion, raw dandelion. It used to be called PISS root in the APDs or something. Yeah. Wild cranberry, black seed oil, Rus coriaria in the Oregamax capsules. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, so we're supposed to talk about the muck, but before we get into mucky muck, what was your question, mister?
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
About maybe somebody who is already in dialysis because of a kidney failure.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any example that you can give us that I managed to remove that person from that situation by using your methods?
Oh, good.
Any
That's great.
Example?
You'll have to tell me about that later. Yeah, people on dialysis, it's impossible, nothing can be done, they're on dialysis, you're done, you're doomed. I don't take that approach either much, and so I had a woman on dialysis, and we gave her only the oregano and the cran flush, it's called. wild cranberry. That's all she would do. Very stubborn 80-year-old. And she got off the dialysis and never went back on. So that wild cranberry and the oregano would be great options. I know that B-complex can sometimes help, so the B-complex powder in these cases. I had a woman that went into kidney failure because she thought she had a vitamin deficiency, and when you have a thiamine deficiency, you feel like bugs are attacking you all the time, and weird things, and you feel like this sensations of itching and bugs, and she thought she was being attacked by bugs, so she poured pure eucalyptus oil and also added some pesticide to her scalp. And she did that for a week, and she went into renal failure. But she was a white rice aficionado, so I knew she was deficient, and so I gave her the Oregamax, Cran Flush, may not, I don't remember, and I gave her vitamin B, purely B. And she was young, she was only 30, so she got off the dialysis and she never went back. So I would say you should do the oregano, but add the berry acids, whether it be the juice of oregano with the berry acids, black seed oil with berry acids, wild cranberry, regular cranberry juice, to stimulate a little extra urinary flow. Combination effect. And some black seed oil, we said. Yeah. All right, so let me get into the muck, and then we'll get to the question. See, I've tried it all, okay, and some of it not very smartly. I mean, one time I poisoned myself with a mushroom, so I've been there. And, I was with the Polish guy for a week, and he trained me and taught me everything. You know, Polish knows their mushrooms, but even some experts in Poland kicked the bucket. So I tried the ones in the bush that were the ones he showed me, but they weren't the ones he showed me. They were a lookalike and got sick. But thank God for the oregano and the juice. It got me through it. All right, so I'm always experimenting. I'm a little more careful now. I don't touch those mushrooms anymore. So don't worry about me. I learned my lesson. But the bear, I don't know about the bear. I mean, when I was doing my last research, somebody not far from me got attacked by a black bear and he killed him. He was mad at the guy for picking the plums. They were his plums, but the bear didn't care. He thought they were his. So he cut the guy's head. But anyway, it's not easy. But in the process of all this hunting in the woods, besides getting the Lyme disease 8 years ago and a wheelchair, but I found the secret to health. The secret is to dive in a ditch and start chewing on the muck. You know, the muck, the tannic acid-rich water. You see all this muck in the swamps. And, in other words, that humic acid and all that forest muck from the wild wilderness is the secret. That energy. We don't get it here. We have concrete. We have farms. We have greenhouses. We have to go to the wild, crude extracts to get the optimal health. So whether it's cannabis muck, in the case where you don't refine it, comes in a green resin, or turmeric muck that ends up being the wild turmeric and the whole thing, not nanotechnology. They're surrounding the curcumin with nanotech gold, platinum, silver, and titanium to try to force it to absorb. If they made a disaster, they don't know what to do about it. Oh, that black pepper extract. You just take the muck from the turmeric, and it's so thick. You have to add the turmerones and different things, and you can get it to a point where it's liquidy, and you micelize it or you put it in capsules. But that's 220 active ingredients. Do you understand? Versus 3 when you isolate. Do we understand the difference at all? 220 synergizing, working together in nature. So you take the cannabis, you take the turmeric, you take the black seed, you don't standardize it. You just press it out of the seed. You take the pomegranate. What the villagers do with that is that, I love muck. I saw the muck myself over in Lebanon. When I was on the hunt for oregano honey, because that's where I found it, and for other oregano products. So there, what they do is they take a big concrete vault, crude. They put steam pipes in the concrete vault. Then they go around and these villagers scoop out all the pomegranate seeds and dump them in there. and then they steam it for about 8 days until it turns into a syrup. And the syrup is sterile, and the syrup can't mold. And they've been doing that for 1,000, 2,000 years. They do it with grapes. They come in with a truckload of grapes and dump them in the vault, and they do it with carob, of all things. Carob pods. They make a carob. But I'm fond of the pomegranate. So it comes like that, and you take it and use it. The same is true with the oregano. There's 3 kinds. There's the villagers take the oregano in this case, and they take their wooden pitchforks and they pitch it into a big stainless steel still, and then they distill that, and it comes out in one container comes the oregano oil, in another one comes the juice, because they condense the water that they use in the steam to make the juice. And that's it. Nobody does anything good. That's what I thought with oregano. For me, it was simple. Back in 1997, nobody would do anything else, right? No. And later that year, as oregano became more popular with me doing the radio shows and telling the case histories, somebody sent me an email from the University of Maryland or something, and they said, we want you to be a promotional agent. We want you to promote synthetic oregano. You are the big voice, and we'll pay you, and we're going to we've got a patent now. We're injecting the oregano with Pseudomonas aeruginosa, genetically engineered, injecting the stalk, then we're going to we're raising it on the farm, which we already did, and we raised artificially the active ingredient, and then we're going to raise it on the farm. And so, believe it or not, since 97, the farm-raised engineered oregano oil is on the market by dozens of companies. So when you look at the real oregano oil, the P73, whatever you call it, P73 oregano, and you gas chromatography it, you get 33 active ingredients. 30 to 33. When you look at the farm-raised kind, you get 6 or 7 or 8 only. There's such a difference. Now they're making billions. The oregano has become an $8 billion industry. And the villagers miss out. We support 260 village communities. We have them pick the oregano from the mountains up to 12,000 feet. They then bring it down by truckload. But everything's been confused. Now the Greeks are raising it and engineering it and sending it on the market. So just kind of be aware that you get the better results anyway, and we support the local communities with the extract. Now the same is true of the spruce and the pine and hawthorn. I tried. I had a little cardiac something, and I tried the hawthorn teas. Not much. So I went and picked the hawthorn bush up in the north. I then instead of making a tea, I took it in a Vitamix and blended it up. And I ate it by the tablespoon and then reversed whatever that condition was. So then they put out a hawthorn product from raw hawthorn muck. As soon as you mess with the hawthorn, it turns into a muck, a mud. It's so thick that you can't do anything to it. So they have to add wild cranberry to dilute it, but it's like jelly because it's so high in pectin. And therefore the cholesterol, bang, down. So that's a muck. And the same with the spruce. The Native Americans, God bless them, told me about spruce 30 years ago. But they heat it and heat it and heat it in olive oil. I never got too much into it, but then I started chewing on some about 3 years ago, and I felt it dramatic. Woke up at 2 in the morning, dramatic energy and strength. Now, do you know what part of a spruce or a pine one should harvest for a medicine? It's the resin, like the frankincense and myrrh. Now think about frankincense and myrrh and Solomon and Sheba and all that. What made those kingdoms the richest kingdoms of all time was the tree resins from the frankincense and myrrh. They sold all over the place. They had so many gold and riches and whatever. Who knows? So what I said is forget that. You can't eat those. Let's get the kind, and they're so rare now, let's get there's billions of spruce trees. go get that. So I sent some guys, bushmen up in Newfoundland, and he found a team of bush guys, and they went and collected the resin. They just pop it off with a knife. The same with the pine, only we have the Turks doing that. That the Turkish villagers are illiterate. The only income they have pretty much in the village is the pine resin. And no one was taking advantage in the West. So we got it, figured out a way to put it in drops. So you want to look into that for the chronic conditions. Muck. Now, if you were to take that muck, you'd turn into meat. Okay, next. Yeah. You'd be wild as all get out, because you're taking the wild. Your question's back in the back. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. So, my husband is...
What?
Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, the airplane popped my ear, so...
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. My husband is type 1 diabetic.
Oh, yeah, type 1.
And, I mean, he's in totally, other than that, fine health, but his doctor recommended prevestatin as a preventative.
Okay.
And he's like, what do I need to do that for?
No.
It's ridiculous. Are you saying that black seed is...
Well, for type 1 diabetes or any diabetes, there's research showing that the black seed helps regenerate the pancreatic islet cells that make the insulin. But they should look at oregulin. The research we did on that at Georgetown, oregulin has cinnamon, myrtle, fenugreek, and more. And that three times a day. He should look at the spruce. I'm going to talk about the spruce in a minute. You've got to look at that. And the oregano juice, at least those. They have to make an impact for him. Yeah. Yeah, right in the back first. Yeah.
I have two questions. One is touching on this. If you have, like, my husband has heart issue.
He has heart issue.
And I said, oh, you should read some of the stuff that I brought him from.
Yeah, for sure.
And he said, well, I can't take any of that until I talk to my doctor.
Oh, he's got to talk to his little pharma guy. That doesn't make any sense. Does he eat pizza?
Yes.
Well, then, does he go talk to the doctor and say, can I have basil and oregano on my pizza? Get him out of here. He takes the black seed.
I agree. So that was my
He
first
takes the black seed, he takes the oregano, he takes the juice of oregano with the pomegranate, and he takes the black seed with the pomegranate. He takes at least that. He feels better. He takes the hawthorn. Hawthorn been used at the beginning of time. He feels better. And he looks better.
That's what I want him to do, feel better.
Yeah.
He's not feeling better.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he takes the purely packed and gets whole food nutrients. Nobody could argue. And maybe he takes the polar power because it's just fish oil. Who's going to argue? Every doctor's recommending. An idiot somewhere.
My other question.
Yeah. Yes, you first.
And my other question was, when you still put out the oregano and taking that to get to flush out the infection or whatever it is, do you take that and then start?
No, you take everything at once. Everything at once for the results. Some pine, some spruce, some oregano, some black seed, some whatever. Turmeric if you have the inflammation. But yes, you first.
Thank you.
I've had psoriasis.
Psoriasis since she was 10.
Diagnosed with lupus about 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Raynaud's, Sjogren's. Specifically, since May, I've been having issues with my Achilles tendon.
Oh, get both tendons.
Horrible.
Okay.
Like debilitating. So,
what's going on? Can you stick out your tongue? Okay, so there's a little bit of fungal. If it's in the Achilles tendon, there's an infection somewhere.
Right.
Psoriasis, all kind of stupid psoriasis and eczema, lupus, and ridiculous is fungal elements. Some kind of fungal elements in the tissues. Look, what I would do, I would hit the chaga. You know about chaga? Chaga from the birch trees. It reverses a stupid psoriasis. So chaga and black seed oil. Chaga, the tea, chaga, the capsules, and especially the capsules and the drops, especially because they're raw. Raw chaga, by the way, is from the trees of the birch in the far north, is the #1 natural medicine for psoriasis and eczema, for dermatitis. You take that, you take the spruce. Spruce with the chaga, with the black seed and the oregano. Boom. Out. No more. You know? Okay, yeah.
So what's the number one antioxidant? In your blueberries? In your
Okay,
cloves?
all right. Well, did everybody get an idea that I think oregano oil is a pretty good thing? 1 drop of oregano oil has an ORAC antioxidant of 3,000. Blueberry is 32. So your number one food antioxidant is oregano. Chaga is only 150. Second one may be turmeric, and then your cinnamon's pretty good. Yeah. So if you're going to do an antioxidant, use the juice. You want to say, well, somebody come up to me and say, well, how come you haven't changed in 30 years? It's the oregano, dummy. Come on, I smell like a pizza factory. Okay, anybody else? Okay, yes. Yeah. Okay, what a great thing. The stupid big C, the number 2 killer. Get it out of here. I had a woman who had a miserable cancer. I had a woman, she had, now I can't speak for the company, because, you know, we wouldn't want them to get shut down by the, you know, whatever. I'm going to just speak as a doctor. I had a woman who had a uterine carcinoma. I put her on thyroid support, chaga, little black seed, and juice of oregano. She got nauseated. She's a good gal. And she went to the doctor. When she got to the hospital, out of her vagina came a big tumor. The doctor said the tumor was there, but it fizzled out. It cut itself out and it came out. It died at its root. I have had that happen without any scars or anything. So look at that juice with the extract or not. We're about ready to close up, so I got 3 questions. Go ahead.
Acid reflux?
Acid reflux is the oregano and the black seed. Juice, oil, black seed. Yeah.
How much oregano can you take just on a daily basis as prevention?
How much oregano can you take on a daily basis? The more you take, the better for me. And you know, you'll be so healthy and strong.
Okay.
The research shows that the oregano is an antioxidant and an antitoxin. So if you take it, it doesn't damage anything. So if you want 5 drops twice a day or 2 capsules, that's about all you really need.
And it's okay for the bowel flora. It's okay.
Well, now if you get into the high doses on the bowel flora, the research shows that you might lose 5% of the mass. The body gets adjusted to it, so it doesn't kill them all. It's just like any spice, you eat spices. But if you're going to take the high doses for like lime, 4 capsules 3 times a day, and you're taking juice, and you're taking a dropper full 4 times, or 2 or 3 dropperfuls 4 times, then you take your probiotics.
So you said 5 drops a day or...
No problem with the probiotics, or 2 capsules.
2 capsules.
Yeah, 5 or 10 drops, 2 capsules. Reasonable dose. And then take the health back. Super probiotic, if you're taking the high dose. But, yeah, go ahead. Chronic anemia, it could be parasites, could be nutritional deficiency. We would say use the purely packed for the nutritional deficiencies. Use the spruce to build up the blood, the black seed to build up the blood. If there's parasites, use the pine and the black seed to clean them out. Maybe the oregamax, which is rich in iron. The wild oregano honey, which is rich in minerals, builds blood dramatically. Some ideas there. Yes?
Insomnia?
Insomnia is the hemp, especially hempenol PM. You're supposed to get a sample of that. Hempenol PM will knock you out. Knocks me out. Yeah. Hops and oregano.
Did you write a book?
What?
Did you write a book with all this and a list? It's a lot to write
The
down.
best book with these lists are the Cures in the Cupboard. The hemp oil miracle, the doctor's guide to oregano oil. They all have protocols. The infection connection, they all have protocols. Black seed oil miracle, full of protocols. Look, I wrote the book. You got the money. You want me to stand here for 8 hours? What? Okay, what else?
I heard you on the radio.
What?
When you were on the radio,
yeah,
you weren't so thrilled with cacao and
kale.
chocolate.
Cocoa.
Oh, cacao. Oh. Well, not too much. Not too much. Some people with low adrenal, they're hitting it all the time. But the raw kind, the kind that's available now, the sort of, what is it called, friendly to the environment or sort of fair trade, it's still, well, it has a lot of nutrients, so reasonable amounts, but not killing it all the time. That's only
the 80%.
Yeah.
And I also want to know, because I own this book called The Green Pharmacy by Dr.
Yes.
Duke. Do
Yes.
you like it?
He's good. He's a brilliant guy. Dr. Duke, he does research-based stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, question. Black seed oil is black seed.
No. Black seed is a seed in the Mediterranean. They press the seed. The grapes are like in the Mediterranean, right? The pomegranate. So you have all Mediterranean medicine. They press the oil out. It's a flower's seed. The flower ripens, the seeds turn black, and that's it. We got 2, 3 questions, then we're done. Yeah.
I know your time is over, but it's very important. Some of these stuff that you're talking about are very expensive sometimes. And one of the concerns that many of us, these are very good products, but it might not be able to afford sometimes. How
can you?
Because it's a big issue. I'm not really speaking of myself, I'm
Yes.
speaking of so many people
Yeah.
who might see a very good product, but to people need to be. Is there any harm, for example, use a product for a shorter time? And once
Yes, you do. That's what we're talking about. Remember I said the hemp? I don't take it very often now. Except if I'm traveling, I have a big... So they're so effective, the canna-curcumin. You take it like the lady until you clean out, then you use it once in a while. The way to do it is get it cleaned out. Use the oregano to clean out, then you can go to the budget. 2 to 5 drops a day. That's all you need. Every other day. Juice of oregano. Every other day, every week. Yes, the lady with the cane.
I have a back that will not straighten.
Your back won't straighten.
Right.
You need a good osteopath. You want me to look at you? In the meantime, you take the canna-curcumin and you have your best friend rub your spine with the oregano super strength. That's what you do. Yeah. Maybe the spruce as well. Yeah, in the back.
Fact or myth? Dark
Who?
chocolate. Fact or myth? Is dark chocolate good for you?
Is dark chocolate
Dark
good for you?
chocolate.
78%.
It's got nutrients, magnesium, biotin, reasonable usage. But I have had to take it as a stimulant. I've had to take some people off of it. They overdo it. Once in a while, yeah, your body can handle it. Yeah. It's not like it's a medicine going to cure it.
No.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah. Okay.
What about diverticulosis?
What, Doug?
What about diverticulosis?
Diverticulosis, put oregano oil and juice, hot boy. People, we'll answer some questions. We've got some tickets, some freebies. I'm going to be around for a couple hours, I guess. I don't know how, 1 hour. 1 hour. Just an hour. Who didn't get a ticket?